and applied sciences and solution of
Can you
current
give us an idea
societal
of more
problems.
specific research, like more sort of applied?
I can give you an idea of the research that's going
Yes,
on
that
at the
would be
university itself, and I can also give you an idea about some of the projects that the Nile University 100
yes.
was able to actually pick up as good projects from across the country that are subject to implementation in a relatively short period of time. At the university, we have actually 6 research centers, and those are focused on the areas where we think the future of technology. So we have research center on wireless communications, research centers on electronics, research centers on informatics. We have a center for innovation, competitiveness, and entrepreneurship, which is the one that actually sponsors the Nile University 100. We have a center on nanotechnology. So we are picking up the areas where the future of science and technology is going to be, and its application that's going to make the most impact on society in the future. So we do a lot of research, and we do research with both international companies as well as local companies. So for example, we do research in cooperation with companies such as Intel, Microsoft, Google, General Motors, a set of very large international companies. We also do with local companies.
Exactly. Is the university in partnership with any other universities abroad?
Yes, we have very strong connections. We work on 3-pronged approach, essentially. One of them is benchmarking other universities around the world in terms of the programs. So we pick up programs that we think is most appropriate for Egypt and for the future of the country. And we benchmark both undergraduate and graduate programs. The second one is the second prong is a very strong connection with the business community and with industry, trying to help them through their research and development and achieving a competitive posture in the global marketplace, as well as obviously providing them with the necessary human resources that would help them move forward in a global environment. And also we focus on the creation of small and medium enterprises through the projects that are developed at the campus, as well as new projects that we can find across the country for youth populations that are willing to move forward with their ideas. The third prong essentially is opening the exchange of information with international centers and universities, and relying a lot on our expat community to come back and work, because they have usually experience and they can work with the young population of Egypt in order to help them, guide them into how to develop their ideas further. So talking about other universities, we have very strong relationships with international universities such as Ohio State University, University of Minnesota, University of Miami, Imperial College in London, KTH in Sweden, ASA Business School in the business component. Those are very prominent international institutions. We have very strong relationship with them, as well as with some of the research centers such as the Bell Labs and other research centers around the globe.
Right, let me get in here and jump up to the second question, or the following question. One of the most important 2 files in Egypt is the educational file and the health file. Now, concerning the educational file, ever since Nile University started off, lots of educational experts have been hailing the performance of that university. Now, you as an institution, how are you contributing to that educational file problem? I mean, how are you delivering that quality of education at an affordable price?
I'm glad you asked that question, because that's a very important question. As you well know, I mean, society right now, there's a lot of discussion about education and research. And everybody is talking about that the future is for the countries that will improve their educational system and their research and development components, because the future is dependent on science and technology and knowledge in general. Now, the Egyptian educational system is a system that's based on the culture of knowing. We want to change that culture to the culture of learning. There's a big difference between those. The culture of knowing is very much dependent on memorization, on fixed curriculum, on standard, rigid type of delivery systems, and so on. We want to switch that completely to the culture of learning. As a matter of fact, one of the themes that we have adopted at Nile University, we talk about creating a learning culture. The culture of learning is the culture of finding information, for creativity, for innovation, for freedom of thought and action.
How are you implementing that, sir? In what sense?
We're implementing it in curriculum and in the way we teach. We have small number of students to start with. I mean, we are not similar to the other universities in Egypt. I mean, when you talk about some of the older universities of Egypt, which are government universities, you're talking about universities that have hundreds of thousands of students. We are not even close to that. We are a very small institution. We work with smaller groups. There is a direct interaction between the student and the faculty members. We work in groups. We allow people to explore and investigate. So we rely a lot on the library, on the electronic libraries, on the information.
Do you have resources that are well enough?
We have resources. We were developing much bigger resources, unfortunately, through the revolution. In the past couple of years, we lost some of our resources that we were planning. So we had a very ambitious strategic plan that got interrupted, unfortunately, in the last couple of years. Hopefully, we can restore this and move forward. But again, working in projects, working to find the information, not to be given the information, working to rely on your own way of thinking.
In the sense research.
Exactly.
Right. Let me build on what you're saying. Scientific research is the mother of all civilization. It's the foundation of everything.
Absolutely.
So do you, as a president of such an important institution, educational institution, do you think that the Egyptian government is investing enough on scientific research?
Unfortunately, I wouldn't say that they are investing enough. There's never an investment enough in scientific research. But the investment by the in research is very modest.
But you're seeing good signs? Are you signaling something?
We are seeing elements of good signs when you are connected to the right individuals or the right groups. But the percentage of the GDP that's invested in the research in Egypt is very small. And the problem is not only that the government investment in research is small, but unfortunately the industry and the business investment in the research is even smaller. And that's what makes the difference. For example, if you look at any of the large countries that are advanced in science and technology and education, they're probably investing 2.5 to 3.5 to 4% of their GDP on research and development. Egypt is spending less than 1%. That's a very small amount, and there isn't much contribution by the industry and the business community to the research effort. And that's what we want to encourage. It's a whole way of thinking. It's a way of building an infrastructure for society to push forward as we move into the 21st century. As we know, the whole future is dependent on technology and the application of technology, whether it's on economic growth or whether it's on societal improvement and so on. And unless you have good investment in research and development, you really cannot build that base.
Dr. Tarek Khalil, President of the Nile University, would like to thank you. Thank you very much for being with us. And ladies and gentlemen, a short break and back again.